Hey Mark, how are you, man?
I'm good, you?
Good, good. It is Thursday and
It is.
almost the weekend.
I like the car.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I gotta represent,
Absolutely. Nice
Yeah.
work, mate.
So how are things with you, man?
Good. Yeah. I mean, I've been pretty busy teaching all things drums, but
Hmm.
all good, man. Yeah. Just kind of prepping for, the upcoming tour with Black Label Society, which is
Yeah.
exciting. So,
Yeah, that is
pretty big
awesome.
deal.
Yeah, I want to talk about
Um,
all the tour. That's fantastic. I want to talk about the EPs that you got coming out, the live albums coming out. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. So that's exciting.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's been pretty busy. I'm sure you've heard that we've been working on well, we did the mini album, which is kind of having it all kind of cleaned up and mastered and all that kind of stuff. So, but it sounded really, really cool, really, really
Oh,
cool,
great.
really cool. So,
Yeah. Well,
and the whole process during actually recording that was really, I would say new, but it's not. It's very old school with a
okay.
hint of a modern way to do it. So it was
Nice.
it was it was very it was very well. I think it was very well done. I think we've done a really good job with it, and I'll say stuff about that. During
Yes. No, I want to hear it all.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, and it's nice having Curran in our backyard, in my backyard. He lives in Akron, about an hour from me, so we're
Ah,
we're in the vicinity. Yeah. So that's why it's always great, to see him, and this incarnation of Venom Inc. I think is just so strong and so good, and I can't wait for the new material.
well, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to people hearing it. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, we'd like to do a live reaction to it. That would be awesome if we're able to do that. If you guys are cool with that, we'd love to be able to
I
do
mean,
that.
I'm fine with it. Just speak
Yeah,
to Tony and Curran, but I'm sure that'll be absolutely fine.
yeah. I'll talk with them. I'll talk with Tony. Make sure it's cool. Oh yeah, we're doing a slugfest. We're doing Merciful Fate, Into the Unknown versus Nine. I'm like, ooh, that's good because those are both stellar albums. Yeah. Just like the one that we're going to be doing ourselves is the Power of Lombardo Compels You. So we're going to be doing the Power of Inner Strength versus The Gathering. So two albums with Dave
Okay.
Lombardo. I think that'll
Well, I
be
know which one I'm picking straight away. Yeah,
so.
I mean, for me, like the Gathering is one of the albums I used to actually practice along to a lot. you know. So it's kind of like I know that album very well, the
Mm,
other album, not so much. I had a couple of
mm,
listens to it because you
mm,
mentioned it. Um, Naming the song, kind of going, track by track might be a bit difficult because it's not really an album is my go-to.
sure.
I've only heard it a couple of times ever since like you've
Yeah.
mentioned it, which
Yeah.
is really cool because it's an album I've not really kind of taken
The
note of.
the
But
Power of Inner
it was a
Strength.
good album.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good album.
It is. Yeah. Chop and I saw Grip when they came to Cleveland, and when we got in, Baltimore Sword Show was just standing there. There was nobody in the venue. We got there a little early. There was nobody there. So we just walked
Yeah.
right up to him and we talked to him for like an hour, just hanging out, talking to him. It was really, really awesome. And then I had my moment. I had my Dave Lombardo moment when they were playing between songs. I was there right in front, right in front. Baltimore Sword Show was on that side, and I yelled, Dave, I love you. I want to have your baby. And I just see him look down, shake his head, like, oh man. I'm like,
Not another
yeah.
one.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Not someone else who wants my babies.
That's right. That's
Leave my
exactly.
babies alone.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was
Brilliant.
reading about like the last tour he did with Slayer. I know that they got mired in all this legal stuff before, and I think that's like their last
Yeah,
tour they did. They because their attorneys said you got to do this album, this tour, and they weren't making any money. I think they said they were making like 10%. Besides, well, the
yeah.
attorneys got. I'm like, Jesus, that's a lot of fucking work to make no money.
For nothing.
And
Yeah.
I think Lombardo said he was being paid. God, I think he said like $600 a night to play. And I thought, wow, that's just how do you, that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, the biggest like
No, I
thrash
mean,
band,
exactly. Yeah, that's it. That
yeah.
there had to be something going on behind closed doors. But then again, I think it was Tom Mariah or Kerry King who came out and said that that was a load of rubbish. So it's
Oh,
kind of like, who,
who's
it's
being
just
truthful?
exactly. It's just typical
Yeah.
kind of band politics, that.
Yeah. It's just, it's too
I mean,
bad.
the whole thing with the Venom Inc. thing, with Mantis and Abaddon. It's like, there's still a lot of things that are being said behind, uh, mainly behind Tony's back and stuff,
Hmm.
and it's just it's just a thing that happens. And I'm just here, just like, I just want to play. Is that all
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No, I'm not a politics guy. I don't see the need for it. I just don't like it. I think it makes things really messy. It doesn't have to be, but no, I
Exactly.
totally get it, but there's something to like greed too. Like I read, and again, I don't know how truthful this is. It was Vinnie Vincent when he was playing with Kiss, during like Lick It Up tour, because he wrote a lot of that album. And it's a good album. He said he was being paid $550 a week to be on tour. And I thought, Jesus, they wouldn't make him an equal part of the band. Like even though he was there for a couple albums and toured. And I thought, I mean, I don't know how this stuff works, but that's the kind of stuff I want to find out. I want to call up Eric Singer and say, how much did you get paid? But I know it's so crass, you can't do that. But that's the kind of stuff I mean, that's the
Well,
stuff
of
I think
course, yeah,
everybody wants to
it's
know,
stuff that no one really talks about, and of course, it's a music business. So,
Yeah,
I understand why people are intrigued and interested as to, what kind of amount of money people get, like musicians get paid and stuff.
yeah,
Especially when it's like, the business side, it can be pretty ugly, especially when it's like, bands like Kiss. I mean, fucking
yeah,
hell, they're like one of the biggest bands in the world.
yeah. And you're gonna like
It's
short
like,
someone who's like wrote an album for you and is touring, like you're gonna like cut him out. Like, I mean,
yeah,
I can
that's
understand like not making
unbelievable.
him a full-fledged like member, fine. But Jesus, you gotta pay the guy a living wage,
Exactly.
I mean, they were making, I think, on this last tour, like over $1 million a show. Like, how much were Tommy and Eric getting? Like, that's the
Mhm.
kind of stuff I want to know. Like, God, was it equitable? Like, are they making like 100 grand a night or 50 grand a night?
Yeah.
Something like
Well,
I would,
it's like when Dave Ellison came back into Megadeth. He was put on a kind of minimum wage, so to speak. When before it was like, it was Dave and Dave Ellison, wasn't it? It was
Mhm.
Mustaine and Dave Ellison whose kind of band it was to everyone. And those two, like, even Mustaine was the main guy, the boss, if you like, but Dave Ellison was the guy who was always with him. So he would have been paid a fair amount back then,
Yeah,
but when he joined the band again, it was kind of a little bit different.
yeah,
That was something that came out that was really interesting because you're like, it's Dave Ellison, man. Like, because we're in the band together from the start, and he never left.
right. Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's just like.
yeah. It makes no sense.
But
So
one
very
thing I
true.
did notice, there's a picture behind you, and I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of Godzilla.
Oh, really? Yeah. This
Yeah,
is we got Shin. This is from I think it was Shin Godzilla. And then
yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah,
Johnny Sacco and his giant robot, and
yeah.
below that I can get around here. We've got that's Mecha Godzilla, from the
Cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
1974. Then over here we've got these are the Gargantuas, Sanda and Gyra, the Gargantuas. Yeah,
yeah, man.
yeah,
Nice. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
I
really
know.
looking forward to because I saw Godzilla -1,
Oh yeah,
which was really, really good. And the next one, which is called Godzilla
-0.
-0, I think it is.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Apparently it takes
Um,
place like in 1949, or so we're jumping a few years at post-war or something like that. But yeah, I'm I'm cautiously optimistic because -1
yeah.
was so good. It was like
Yeah, it really
devastatingly good.
was.
Yeah. Did you
Because
see it at the theater?
it was a great balance. I did see it at the theater. Yeah, it was a great balance between, the original Godzilla and
Hmm.
not so much. It was
Yeah.
a really good balance, and they really captured that old kind of. 50s kind of style, I
Oh,
guess.
totally. And it
You
was
know?
kind of a revitalization of the original concept and theory, the kind of updating the effects, of course. But I did my master's thesis on Godzilla. I have a master's in popular culture, so I wrote about
Nice.
Godzilla as Shinto and things like that. Um,
Brilliant.
but yeah, minus one, I was so impressed with it because even if without the monster, there was the human story was so moving and compelling to me. Like out of all the Godzilla movies, maybe this one I think arguably is the best of the series. Maybe save for the first one, but I really felt for the characters. Like I was really, I mean, I really my heart was breaking for them, and I've watched them go through all of this to have all this
Yeah,
loss and then rebuild their lives and see this guy struggle with all these memories from the war and
exactly.
and it was so emotional. The
Hmm.
end when he like when you see that he had ejected, it's like, and like I could hear people in the theater like crying because they were like so invested. And I loved Godzilla ever since I was a kid, but that movie moves me in a way that none of the other
Yeah,
movies do, and it's such a
yeah,
good
it was
movie.
so
Yeah.
good, so good. I mean, I really enjoyed Godzilla 2014. I
Yeah.
thought that was amazing. I thought they captured Godzilla really, really well.
Hmm.
Uh, that scene where the kind of uh, they're jumping out of the planes and they're just going down L shapes
Yeah,
and
those
you see
Halo
Godzilla's
jumps.
leg, and it's just like,
That
oh my God,
was
that's fucking
yeah,
amazing.
that was
But the
great.
one thing that spoiled it, that went so fucking Hollywood on it, where it was like the ending, where it was just like, oh, we all love Godzilla and everyone's happy, yay. It's like, that's not Godzilla.
No,
You know,
no,
you're supposed to be kind of figuring what he's about because he's not your hero.
right,
He's just fucking destroyed your whole fucking country.
right,
You know what I
right.
mean? It's like you're not
Yeah,
supposed to love him.
yeah,
It's just you're supposed to accept that he exists because, he gets rid of all the other mythical monsters, you know?
yeah. Well, Mark, let's go ahead and get into this. We're going to talk about our top 10 drummers, and I've got my list, and we'll have a good time. So if you are ready, I'm ready.
Cool, let's do it.
All right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is him from Sermon, and you're listening to Heavy Metal Horror.
I am Montag, Master of Illusion. What goes up must come down, but not always. And you are watching and listening to Heavy Metal Horror. Oh, kitties, that's right. Marc Jackson from Venom Inc. is here. Mark, welcome back to Heavy Metal Horror.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
And it's good to have you. Chop Top is not here. Apparently, the groin injury he sustained, he pulled it too much, and now he's in the hospital. But hopefully, he'll be back here soon. Today, kids, we're going to talk about our top 10 drummers. That's right. That's one thing Mark and I share. We're both drummers. So I thought, I know some drummers. Oh, let's have Mark come on and talk about our favorite drummers. But before we get there, we're going to talk a little Venom Inc. I know you guys have been crazy busy. You just had a tour in South America,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
what can you tell us about that tour? Because I know life on the road can be challenging, but there's something wonderful about playing to audiences who are excited to see you. And it seemed like the snippets I saw, you guys had some amazing audiences.
Yeah. I mean, South America has always been, well, to me, it's my favorite place to perform, um, just because of the reaction you get from the audiences at any time that you play, any time that we play. I mean, the tour was with Forbidden and Violence, which we've
Two
we've
phenomenal
become very
bands.
good friends with. Forbidden we've been friends with for a while. Violence for me it was quite a new thing, so it was really
Hmm.
cool to
Yeah.
meet the guys because they've got kind of a new band lineup, but they're very very strong, sound very powerful. It was great to see Chris Conkoffs and all the rest of the guys in Forbidden as well.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean the crowds were just phenomenal. It was just there was one show in particular we played, and it was it in Chile? Was it Chile? I think it might have been in Chile. So we actually finished. We were coming at the end of our set. We were halfway through the last song, and out of nowhere, the electricity just completely shut off,
Oh,
and the crowd just kept going, singing their hearts out,
that's
and
great.
just doing these like football chants, and like every single person in the crowd were doing that, and there was no electricity. So I kind of messed around a little bit, and this was going on for like it must have been 15 minutes,
Wow.
and it just kept going and going and going. I've got it. I've got the footage of it on the camera. I have that I take to each gig I do. And obviously the drum mics wouldn't work because there's nothing coming out of the PA because the electricity's off. So
Right.
they had the kind of like floodlights on where you can actually see the crowd, and but it's still very dark. And I started playing these drum beats to see if people would actually see, if they could kind of recognize what it was I was playing. So I started off with In League with Satan, which worked a treat. They just went for it straight away. And then I just kind of started playing things like Painkiller and stuff like
Oh,
that
wow.
too,
Nice. Yeah.
So
Oh, that, yeah.
it was really fun to do. I didn't want to kind of continue doing that because I just thought I would get a bit carried away. But it was really it was really kind of a memorable moment for me.
Nice.
But yeah, amazing place to play. I've always loved playing South America. I mean, the first time I went there with Venom Inc. was insane. Playing Cool Metal Fest in Sao Paulo was amazing. The first time that I went out with Venom Inc. And it was just kind of a question of, is it going to be the same this time around? And it was. So
Nice.
yeah, really, really cool. Really, really cool. And I'm always excited to go back to South America. Yeah. So as you said, we've been very, very busy. So pretty much straight out of, out of the tour from South America, um, we got into the studio, a custom audio mutation, which is current with his studio, um, and yeah, we worked on the mini album. Um, so that was really exciting, and that's now done, and it should. We plan to have it released in kind of summertime. There's no set date as such, but it's all very exciting.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so we're doing the mini album. We've got live albums coming out as well, and of course we've got the upcoming tour with Black Label Society,
Yeah.
which is very exciting.
Now, where's that?
Being on stage alongside
We're
that
gonna,
wild
we're,
as
we're
well.
gonna, oh, that's gonna be great. Sorry, I had questions. I'm like, oh, they're coming to me. The, the tour with Black Label. Now, I saw you were touring in Europe in June, right? Is
Yes.
that's the tour that with Black Label, correct?
So it starts on the 28th in Glasgow, and then it's the UK and a lot of Europe. So there's like Poland, Austria, Germany, uh, Czech Republic, uh, yeah, France. A lot of the shows are um, sold out, so there's
That's good.
very limited tickets. So if you haven't got your tickets, go and get them, or you'll miss out
Yes, that's
because
right.
it,
That's
it's going
right.
to be incredible. I mean, for me, it feels like a long time since Black Label Society have actually been out on the road, you
Okay.
know, because Zatwell's been so busy with Pantera, and obviously
Yeah. Right.
he joined Ozzy again. Um, so yeah, it's really exciting to actually obviously do the tour with Black Label Society, but actually seeing Zach perform with Black Label Society again and having the band back is really exciting too.
That's
So I'm
awesome.
really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'd love to be a fly on the wall sometime, like to just see how that goes. I mean, the band's got to get together and hang out, and I'm sure that there's a lot of that going on. But no, that sounds awesome. Yeah, and I hope you have a great time. I know we're excited about the albums that we get to hear it because I'm so happy that you're doing some live releases because Venom Inc. I mean, I think you guys are such a good live band. You have an energy that transcends the albums, and not that the albums are bad by any means. Because that last album was so good, but you now get a chance to capture that for an audience and for people who may not have heard the music. And so I'm really glad that you're releasing some live albums. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and I think for this, the mini album, the way that we approached the recording side of it was that our goal was to capture what we do live, you know. So, usually when you record an album or anything that you release, you would kind of already have a tempo map set out, so you'd be playing to a certain click at a certain tempo and stick by that. But in this instance, what we did is we actually got together in a room in the studio. We would perform each track that we were going to put on the mini album, um, and then would listen to it back and go, okay, so is that too slow? Is it the right tempo, or is it too fast? Is there something missing? Um, and we would go back into the studio uh, and perform the song again, and we would know when we'd actually hit the kind of right point where it was like, okay, that sits nicely. That's got a lot of energy. It's still got that groove. It still captures the groove of what the songs are asking for. It's still got that energy, that attitude, that aggression that we really wanted to capture. Everything that we captured live, really. And then we would tempo map what we record, and then I would go back in and I would record to a click. So all of these changes, during the song, everything would be live, and then we would tempo map it, and then I would go in and perform the song.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, so then I would get like maybe 3 or 4 takes of each song and try and do them different each time and choose the best take out of the lot.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was very much done the way that bands used to do it,
Yeah,
but with the kind of modern kind of way of doing it as well by using
nice.
the stuff at the same time. So
Oh,
that
that's
was so
cool.
that was certainly new for me to uh, to do, which was exciting. But yeah, it was really really cool. And then there's a new song that's going to be on this mini album, and yeah, we worked on the song and we got it, and it sounds fucking awesome.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, I don't want to say too much, but
Yeah.
it's all very very exciting, and what uh, Curran's actually done with the Kiss FM studio performance that we did in Sao Paulo
Yeah.
um, is monstrous. It sounds really
Oh,
cool.
good. Yeah.
And the live albums in general, from South America to Europe, just sound incredible.
Great.
So it's great.
That's
It's really,
exciting.
really, really exciting.
Yeah,
Really
it's a big
exciting.
year for you guys. I mean, you have a lot going on. You've been hitting it hard, and so that's exciting. I know for the fans over here, we're really excited about that, and I'm looking forward to giving it a listen as well, and hope to see you guys on the States again sometime. I know, Tony and Curran had said, you guys are all over the place, and so hopefully you guys will be stateside again soon. That would be really great.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we went to Custom Audio Mutation, which is current studio,
Hmm.
which is in Ohio in
Yeah.
America. So it was really cool to actually come back and experience the mass change of weather in Ohio. It
Yeah,
was snowing, and then it was thunder and lightning, and then it was ridiculously sunny, and it was just kind
that's
of like
right.
that in a loop, and it was like,
Welcome to
what the
Ohio.
heck? But
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to mention was that the uh, the Kiss FM performance wasn't really planned. So we actually thought we were just doing an interview for Kiss FM. So it was me and Curran who went to the Kiss FM studio. We did the interview, and the guy goes, "Okay, so where's Tony?" Like, what do you mean? well, you guys are performing. I'm like, what do you mean? Tony's not here for a start. Like, what do you want us to do? So, we got Tony and got his bass gear and all that kind of stuff. I got my drum gear and all that kind of stuff, and Curran got his guitar gear. And then it was like, what are we going to perform then? So we just kind of we performed some songs. There was one song in particular that we planned to perform, but we didn't. And the reason being is because we were out partying all night and morning. We hadn't slept. So us being asked to actually perform was very much a case of okay, So when we actually did the performance, it went really well, but we didn't know that until we actually heard what they'd recorded back. So what happened was after did the performance, I went into another part of the studio, which is where all the the studio software and all that kind of stuff was, and I was like, can I just hear what we actually performed? Because I don't know how it went because we're a bit, hungover, shall we say. And yeah, the guy pressed the play button and we heard the performance and Tony was behind me and Curran was behind me and I was sitting in the chair listening to it and I was like, I turned around at them, I was like, did we just do that? It was really quite a shock
Yeah.
how well we performed
We need
in
to be
that
hungover
state.
more.
So it was just like, wow, okay. So then, it was just like, can we get a copy of this so we could like, release it? And I was just like, yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
there you go. Pure rock and roll moment right there,
That's it. No, that's fantastic. I love that. Oh, that you guys played at your peak, even hungover. That's fantastic. I love that. I love that. It's
I don't
great.
know how we did it, but yeah, we did. Yeah. Because we were just playing pool all night and drinking and hanging out with, you know, Sao Paulo like folk and obviously the forbidden guys and violence and they were all in their hotel beds and whatnot and then there was me, Tony and Curran who stayed out all night partying and uh, we just didn't go to sleep and then we had that interview to do and then perform. It was just
I
like,
love
okay,
it.
are we actually really doing this?
That's great.
But
That's
yeah,
great. And
so
here I
there
was
you
worried that this was too late of a time for you to start a show. So no, that's that's fantastic.
go.
No, it's good, man. That's good. All right. Well, this is how I would like to have this run. We're going to do our top 10. We'll start with our number 10, and I'm going to have you go first and talk about your pick and why he's that for you. And we'll just work our way down to number one. Sound good?
Right, okay. God, man, if I've got to pick 10 drummers, that's going to
Yeah.
be very challenging. Ah, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of going bottom of the list here, aren't I? Is this ranking them from
I'm going from 10 to
one?
1. Yeah, kind of work my way to the top. But you can go in any order. I have mine listed, but if you don't have an order, that's fine. If you just want to talk about some drummers you like, that's cool too.
Okay, could we start with number one? Because that's going to be easy, and then at least I've got
Yeah.
time to think about
Yeah,
the
yeah,
rest.
no problem. We can do number one. Yeah, no problem. So
Okay,
yeah, go you do your number
so
one.
for me, number one, it's not really going to be that much of a surprise, but it's going to be Billboard,
Mm-hmm.
Black Sabbath, Billboard.
Yeah.
Reason being is because he was the guy who I heard and witnessed on a VHS, and it was Black Sabbath, Paris, 1970.
Mm.
And when I saw Billboard perform on the VHS from that concert, I was completely blown away, and that just made me want to play drums.
Oh, nice.
And obviously, he did things that no other drummer was doing, and no other drummer could. Hands down, no one has ever played the song "Symptom of the Universe" like Billboard, and never will.
Oh yeah. No, that's just a good such a good thing. A great pick. It was really hard for me not to put him on my list because I'm thinking, God, that's the hard thing with the top 10 list. Even a top 20, you're like, oh shit, but there's this guy, you know. No, I get it. No, he's a phenomenal drummer and my favorite performances, those first couple albums, I love the way Paranoid is mixed. That album is sounds
Yeah,
so good because everything you can hear everything. And his drums come through so clearly. and
Yeah,
perfectly.
yeah.
It's like listening to Caress or like Permanent Waves by Rush. Like the album is mixed just absolutely beautifully. And but no, I can't argue with that, man. Bill Ward's phenomenal. He's a spectacular drummer and yeah, was one of the best.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, there's so many songs that he actually played that are memorable because not, it wasn't just because of Tony Iommi, it wasn't just because of Geezer Butler, it wasn't just because of Ozzy. It was all of them, and I just think that band just had something. Well, obviously had something very, very special,
Hmm.
and they just kind of brought the best performance out of each other. That's what I loved about Black Sabbath. And they very much were, a very heavy blues band, and especially on the first album, it's it was just a case of, the even if you the heaviest song is obviously the song Black Sabbath, but when you listen to, the other songs, you really hear the kind of how they were the band Earth and then progressed into Black Sabbath, but still had that kind of bluesy, kind of jazzy
Hmm.
edge to them, which was really, really cool. And that was one of the things with Bill Ward, that he wasn't he wasn't necessarily a he wasn't just a rock drummer, was he? You
Yeah,
know what I mean? He
right.
was very much a jazz player, so he was combining the two, and it just created the most amazing, memorable performances that you could ever hear.
Yeah. Well, that groove he plays on Hand of Doom. I mean, that's like pre-hip hop, you know. Dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun, dun.
exactly.
It's
Yeah,
got that borrowing from that, and that's been so instrumental, because you're borrowing it. He's a drummer who I think plays by what feels right,
yeah,
and
exactly.
that's I always tend to gravitate toward those drummers. I mean, there are really great technical drummers. Don't get me wrong, like Mike Mangini, phenomenal,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like a machine, there's it. I'm not saying soulless, but it doesn't have heart. And when I hear
Well,
Bill
it is
Ward play it,
exactly.
it
Yeah,
feels it feels like, oh, okay, this guy's like gets it. He knows what the
exactly.
song's gonna
And
what's gonna be great for the song.
exactly, and especially like a song like The Wizard. It's like one of those songs where no one would perform it like
Yeah,
Bill Ward, and what he
right.
played is
Yeah,
absolutely
that
flawless. And
crescendo with
that's
this tom and the floor tom, it kind of builds up like, oh, that's fucking sweet.
exactly, and it's like, even like that cowbell that he uses in the middle of the verses,
Hmm.
and we'll pick in The Wizard,
And
is
not overly complex fills. The fills are kind of simple, those triplets, but they sound
yeah,
phenomenal.
exactly,
It's not fast, but you can hear it.
exactly.
It's like, oh, come on, man. Again, it's in that groove. It just keeps, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those. It's just with Bill, it was just, even that, again, it's the Paris 1970, and I think it was Hand of Doom,
Mm-hmm.
where he's playing these just amazing fills. I remember that song in particular,
Mm-hmm.
just watching that performance when he's playing
Yeah.
Hand of Doom and War Pigs,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
he's
yeah. Oh
doing
my
things
God.
on a single pedal that you didn't even hear. Well, you didn't hear anyone doing things like that apart from like maybe Buddy Rich when he's doing a drum solo, but not in the middle of
Right.
a song.
No.
And
Uh-uh.
it never sounded over the top. It was just so clean and crisp and clear and so beautifully played. And whatever he played live was it wasn't necessarily the same as what you heard on the record, but it still worked every single time,
Oh, nice.
And that's what I loved about Bill, his improvisation, and it just came from the heart. It was
Hmm.
pure feel,
Yeah.
and that's what I loved about Bill.
Yeah. That's a great pick. I'm glad you put him on because I was like, oh man, okay. I can't put him on this 10 list, but I'm glad you did. Because yeah. Well, my number one, he's the professor. He was kind of
Okay.
my personal drum mentor and my favorite drummer of all time, Neil Peart. And I taught myself how to play, really play. After I learned like the first drum beat I ever learned, you know, bunch, ba, doo, doo, ba. And then once I got that, then I started like playing the music and like playing along. And then when I heard Rush, like something like snapped in me, like, oh, this is something special. And then I had the Moving Pictures album, and I would just play to that. And I didn't get all the fills perfect, but most of them, like I could play Tom Sawyer really well. I could play Bread Barchetta and most of YYZ. But I just loved playing to that album. And I loved hearing him talk about drums and his passions and just about life in general. So he was like a well-rounded, he was a poet, his lyrics are phenomenal and beautiful and at times heartbreaking. And so he's his drumming style also changed because he wanted to become better. I mean, he was at the pinnacle of his craft and he says, I think I can be better. And he goes talk to Gruber and learns how to play jazz like a whole and swing a very different kind of drumming and how he changed the way his drums looked. He went back to a traditional grip and then thought of, time differently. And so his drumming became very different in those last couple albums, but still just for me, it's still heartbreaking to know that he's not in this world, for me. And
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
And I mean, what a tough life he had as well, with his wife and his kid
yeah,
as well, It's just like,
yeah.
wow.
It's a
But
terrible tragedy.
yeah, I mean, it's Neil Peart, it's like you can't say a bad thing about Neil Peart's drumming ever, can you really? It's like he's like, one of the top, well, I'm saying one of the top to a lot of people. He is the top guy when it
Yeah,
comes to drums.
yeah,
He's like the cool thing about Neil Peart's drumming is that even though whatever he played, a lot of the fills that he played weren't exactly easy to play. But you would even see non-drummers air drumming along to Neil Peart's drum fills.
right, right.
And that shows how good he was.
Yeah,
The fact that non-drummers know who Neil Peart is and that they would air drum along to his drums. If you're a Rush fan, you're gonna air drum. You know what I
yes,
mean?
yes, yeah,
That's
exactly.
the thing.
No, no, I get it.
Um,
I get
but
it.
yeah, I mean, what an incredible band Rush were, like with Neil Peart. It was like just absolutely incredible. It's just one of those bands, though, isn't it? Where they have that connection, and it's just inseparable. It'll never
Yeah,
be the same
yeah,
without him in the band.
yes. Nothing against Niles. She's a phenomenal
No,
drummer.
no, she
No,
is.
she's
She is
she's I think she's
absolutely.
going to be a great fit. I'm
Yeah,
really glad she's being embraced. I don't have a I'm not upset that she's in and playing. I'm just heartbroken that Neil's not here. I think that's more
of
what it is. I'm
course.
still kind of grieving in that way, but I'm happy for the guys. I'm so happy for them. They look happy. I hope they're able to do this touring and it's not going to like kill them. Um, but I'm just really happy for all of them. So
Exactly. And
yeah,
at the end of the day, it's their band. They can choose
right.
who they
Yeah,
want in the band, and
right.
obviously they saw something special. Um,
Yeah.
so
And that performance they did, that surprise performance at the Canadian Music Awards, did you see that when they
I
I
did.
was like, wow, you went back to like the first album. I'm thinking, oh my God, that and Getty, I think, I mean, for not having performed in 10 years, I thought sounded amazing,
Yeah.
you know.
And the cool thing is that, she's not trying to sound like Neil. She's not trying to
Right.
be like him. She's just being
Right.
herself performing with Rush,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and
And
being
I
part of Rush, and that's what will make it work.
yeah, I think so. I keep on seeing her come up in my Facebook feed like a friend like add friend. I'm like, I'm tempted to. I'm like, hmm. That'd be awesome. Hey, Annika, you want to come on our show? You want to come on and
Yeah,
talk?
exactly. Do it.
I
Why
why
not?
not? Why not? What's the worst you can say is no, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, because then she'll introduce us to her friends. Because then I'll just
Mhm.
cry. Alex Lifeson comes on the show. I'll just be bawling. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't do the show. Choppy gotta talk. So, no, I get it. I get it. Uh, okay, so number two for you, Mark. Who's your next best drummer?
Oh, this is a toss-up here before between two drummers, and I'm trying to think very hard. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. So for me, I'm gonna say Martin Lopez.
Oh, okay.
So Martin Lopez was an Opeth,
Yeah.
um, and then he's got his own band called Sown, who are amazing. Um, and he is just one of the uh, just one of the top drummers who is so underrated, like unbelievably underrated. And that's the thing. He's not known as one of the top drummers,
Hmm.
but to me, he should be.
Yeah.
Um, what he played in Opeth was incredible, absolutely mind blowing. So much feel, groove, heart, soul, you name it, it's all there. And he came up with, again, a big part of being a drummer and being noticed is by playing, whether it's beats, drum beats or drum fills, uh, these parts that are catchy and memorable.
Hmm.
And to me, he has so much of that in everything he plays.
Hmm. Hmm.
And again, it comes back to that jazz side of things where it's like,
Hmm.
he's got the jazz style of his playing, but he's also playing metal music.
Yes.
And that combination is just beautiful. And
Hmm.
he captured it so well. And, Opeth are that progressive, um, well, they were a progressive death metal band that went back to being that.
Yes.
Um, and I just think what he captured for Opeth just made that band even better,
Hmm.
than they were with the previous drummer.
Yeah.
And I've never heard a drummer since capture what he's done, and that's nothing against the drummer they've got now or
Hmm.
acts at all. I just
Hmm.
think that Martin Lopez he's just got that something special, and uh, he just knows how to capture exactly what the song needs. It's one of those things where it's like the drums are irreplaceable, and I just think he is so underrated, and he is a huge, huge influence to me. And what's actually really cool is that I actually met him, um, and it it just felt like it happened for a reason. So me and Tony went to Bloodstock Festival a couple of years ago, and there was a there was a couple of Bloodstocks beforehand where I saw that Soen were going to be playing. And I went to those Bloodstocks, and for whatever reason, they cancelled.
Oh.
So this one in particular was really special because they kind of I knew that they were going to be playing, and I was at Tony's friend's house, and I told Tony I would really like to meet Martin Lopez. He's like a hero to me when it comes to drumming. And uh, what happened was I stayed over at Tony's friends, and I got asked about meeting Martin Lopez. We asked the question. So you're wanting to meet the drummer from Soul, aren't you? And I was like, Martin Lopez, yeah. And I showed them a photo of Martin Lopez, and the first photo that came up on Google was Martin Lopez with a Venom t-shirt on.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, hmm, this might actually be possible.
Yes.
So anyway, went to Bloodstock, and he was right there, in the VIP area, and I was kind of like, do I go over and just talk to him? And I've kind of found the courage to be able to do that. And we were talking for a long time about
Oh,
music
nice.
and favorite drummers, and there's actually a tattoo I've got of the two falcons there,
Oh, yeah.
two vultures, sorry. And he noticed this, and he was like, "Can I take a picture of your tattoos?" I was like, yeah, sure. Why? He's like, oh, because it was my wife that came up with the design because Martin Lopez has those
Oh,
tattoos.
really?
Why I've got them.
Okay.
That's
Oh,
how much of an
nice.
influence he is to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
how
he took a
awesome.
picture to send to his wife, and he asked me if I was performing Bloodstock this year, and I hadn't told him that I was in Venom Inc. at that point. And I was
Oh,
like, no, I'm not performing, but I'm just here to kind of, well, to see Soren and the other bands. Um, and he was like, oh, okay, so you play in a band? I was like, yeah, yeah. He was like, oh, what band? Venom Inc. And he was like, really? Okay. So it was really weird. It was kind of really weird for me, because
yeah.
he was kind of shocked at that, and he was saying how much he loved Venom, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, he's been following Venom Inc. And it was kind of a really surreal situation, that moment that was going on, and then I got to see him perform. Me standing at the side of the stage and watching him perform right in
Yeah.
front of his. When for me it was my dream just to be in the crowd and
Yeah.
watch Martin Lopez perform. Uh, and that just meant so much to me, and he was such a cool guy, really,
Oh,
really cool.
that's great.
Um,
Because you run that
so
risk, sometimes you meet your idols and it turns out badly and then it just ruins it. But I'm
exactly,
so glad that he was cool. And then that moment of like recognition with the Venom Inc. I'm like, that's great, man. What a great
yeah,
story.
yeah, man. I've got a photo on my phone somewhere, of me and Martin, and yeah, it just meant so much to me actually meeting my idol.
Yeah.
My one of my biggest influences in all things drums.
Oh, that's
And as a
awesome.
musician, just incredible.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I love that story. That's great. Um, okay, my number two. This is the drum intro in this song was the very first thing I had ever heard from Iron Maiden, and the drummer is Nico McBrain. That drummer
Oh
for the
wow, okay,
intro for Where Eagles Dare. I'm
yeah, of course. Yeah,
like, and then those big power chords come in. I'm like, oh my God, I think my testicles grew 3 times that day, just like the Grinch, And I'm like, oh fuck, this. I was a teenager. I was in high school, and I'm like, oh, I've never heard music like this. This is and what
yeah.
they were writing about, mythology and history and in science fiction, and I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. I'll take that. Um,
The cool thing is about Iron Maiden to me is that you can't. Well, I can't pinpoint what kind of band they are, because they're not
Mm.
just a rock band, are they? They're not just a progressive rock band. They're not like a prog rock band. They're just Iron Maiden. They just sound like Iron Maiden.
yeah,
They don't sound like any other band that's other
yeah.
than Iron Maiden.
Well,
There's
and
bands
their
that
and their sound has
sound,
evolved. Yeah,
yeah, of course, yeah.
yeah.
They changed every single album pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, those first two albums are so punky, which I really like those first two albums. But then like something dramatically shifts at Number the Beast. And by the time
Yeah,
Peace of Mind comes in, it's like, here we are. This is it. This is their power album, you know. Um, yeah, and
yeah.
and
Sorry to interrupt
yeah.
you,
Oh
but
no, sorry. I got excited and talked over you. No, I totally get it. And I'm sad that he's no longer in the band. I get it. I mean, but so all my memories are from seeing him play, you know, and he's like the one person from the band I have not met. I tried to talk him one time, but he was on his way out. Oh, sorry, I gotta go or something like that. I'm like, okay, that's cool, man. I had a backstage pass. My my friend's uncle did the live sound engineering for them for Maiden. So
wow.
I got backstage pass. He's like, you want to go see the band? I'm like, fuck yeah, yes. And the first time I saw them, I was like starstruck, like, as you might be. And then the second time I saw them, I was much more cool and had a chance to talk with them, and found out some
Wow.
things. Like Yannick Gers was awesome. I'm going to reach out to him and invite him on the show. Um, I saw him play with Bruce Dickinson on the probably his first solo tour after he did what was it? Fuck, what was that album he did with like not it wasn't what was the first album he did with like Zulu Lulu and Son of a Gun and Tattooed Millionaire. That's what it was.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw him and he was playing guitar for Bruce on that album or that tour. And he was like doing all kinds of crazy stuff, dancing around the stage like he does and throwing his guitar up. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? He was just having a great time. And then when I saw him, I said, "Hey, I saw you on Bruce's tour." I go, "How much time did you have between finishing Bruce's tour and starting Maidens?" He goes, "3 days." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, 3 days." I'm like, "Oh my God." I go, "Well, that explained why he didn't play any of Adrian's solos." He just kind of did his thing. And now that his sloppiness, I found, has become much, much better. I think the influence of Dave Murray and Adrian Smith on him has made him a better guitarist. But you know, anyway, we got really, really sidetracked. But Nico, yeah, Nico, I just love him. I love his attitude. I love his kind of comical way of looking at things. And he just, for a drummer who plays with one foot, the speed he has on some
Oh,
of those
it's
songs,
incredible.
it's like, fuck. It's, like, no, I can't do that. Once I went to double bass, I never looked back. And yeah, no, I just love Nico.
Yeah, he's incredible. Absolutely incredible. And it's great to see him perform as well because, like, when he's doing these mad, fast tom fills, it looks like he's doing it in slow motion. He's like, it's just like
Hmm.
moving really slow. And it's like, how are you doing that? Like, yeah. And he's such a character as well. He's got
Yes.
such a huge personality,
Yes,
you
yes.
know.
His advice is, he goes, always start the drum fill with the left hand. I'm like, okay. When I start looking at him and watching him play, I'm like, yeah, he really does, because he can finish it on that strong right, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Just the way he does his fills. So,
Okay. I
all
didn't
right.
know that. That's
Yeah.
pretty
So
cool.
there you go. Drum advice from Nick McBrain, kids. Okay. So Mark, who's your number three?
Hmm. Okay. Um, hmm, hmm. I'm gonna go with
Okay.
Lars Ulrich,
Yeah.
which I think, some people may be surprised by that. And to be honest, the toss up with, who the drummers for number two was between, believe it or not, Lars and Martin,
Okay.
purely because Lars was the guy who Metallica I used to jam along to all of the time, you know, and still do,
Hmm.
really. And I think Lars, again, big personality. Um, and it certainly comes out when he's playing. I think, he gets a lot of stick for his playing, which I kind of understand. At the same time, I'm like, yeah, but you gotta understand, man. Like when he was in his prime, like I'm Justice for All, the
Yeah.
drums are
Oh, yeah.
so catchy,
Yes.
so catchy. The
Yes.
drum fills are so memorable.
Yes.
Like, you know every single drum fill that's been played.
Yeah.
Um, and Freight Ends of Sanity, that drum fill, back of the
Yep.
da da. That's
Uh-huh.
just so cool. And it's just like he does all these really cool drum fills that I don't think anyone else would play. Battery, for example,
Yeah.
great. That middle section, da 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 da. It's just he had so much drive and so much energy and so much passion into his playing, and I think that was Metallica overall. With the passion, you could actually hear it in the music. And I think he was definitely a pinnacle part of that. Him and James in particular were, the driving force musically
Hmm.
when it came to Metallica. And to me, Lars Ulrich is like the Ringo Starr of metal.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, you know, especially nowadays where it's like with Lars, it's like, no, he doesn't play parts that are really difficult to play, but can you remember them? And are they really catchy?
Hmm.
Do they catch, like, grab your attention anytime you
Hmm.
hear him play?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he still has that passion and fire inside of him that he plays and uses when he performs, sorry. And um, I just love his playing. I just
Yeah.
do. I think the one thing that really, um, for me, that makes Lars stand out a lot, and it's the thing that a lot of drummers don't do, especially metal drummers. um, is if you listen to a song like Nothing Else Matters, what he plays on the hi-hat is absolute feel and emotion.
Mhm.
He captures that emotion perfectly. And I truly believe that that song, I'm not saying it would be a bad song without it, but that song would not be as emotional without playing the hi-hat like he does.
Mhm.
Because he doesn't just go, "Tss, tss, da, da,
Mhm.
da," it's not just solid hits on the
Right.
hi-hat. It's
Yeah. Right.
and it captures everything musically perfect, whether it's the lyrics, um, the actual song, just the song overall.
Mhm.
It's perfect, and I don't think other drummers would have done that. And that's the
Mm.
thing with Lars. He always did these things that other drummers would not do,
Mhm.
and that's and his signature bass drum triplets. The loop kind of
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
Kind of thing that you hear him do all the time, especially on the On Justice for All album.
Mhm.
Um, just such a signature way of playing, and I just think he gets so much stick that he does not deserve.
Yeah, I never understood that. Um, he's simplified his drums somewhat as of the last couple of years, but I mean, these guys have been playing for a long time, so I'm not going to fault him for that. Your body gets sore, but I agree. Like, I don't understand, didn't understand the flack. Like, I would say to anyone who's criticizing Lars Ulrich, I said, I'd like to see you try to play Dyer's Eve. Thank you.
Exactly,
I mean, those
exactly.
feet are so fucking fast.
Yeah,
It's just crazy how fast that is, and it's so aggressive, you know.
yeah. But it's
And
even how
yeah,
technical his drum fills are.
it's by
There's
feel
fills
too.
that he plays
Yes.
where it's like, okay, so you for me, a lot of the drum fills that he played on And Justice for All,
Hmm.
um, you would have to work out.
Hmm.
For example, it's like that the middle section of Blackened, where he kind of goes off beat and comes
Yeah.
back on beat.
Yes.
But those kind of drum patterns that he does in the middle of it to go into the beat,
Hmm. Do do
you
do
kind of
do
go,
do.
okay, so what is it that he actually played there?
Hmm.
And there's drum fills in Dyer's Eve, especially where it's like, right, okay, so it's not what I would have thought about doing or maybe played, but
Hmm.
he did that. Somehow he managed to capture those moments and perform them whilst recording. And there were drum fills that I don't think other drummers would actually come up with or play. And it
Yeah.
was never that, I don't think it was that he planned the drum fills because you hear, all of the demos that Metallica did. And a lot of the drum fills are different. So I don't think he necessarily planned to play certain drum fills that are on the Unjustice for All album or on the
Hmm.
Master of Puppets album or blah blah blah. But whatever he captured was always perfect for Metallica, I feel.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I never understood the shade, and while he didn't make my list, he's a phenomenal drummer. So my number three has also been replaced by other drummers in these bands, but there's no one who can do what he does. Another drummer who plays really by feel and brings in not just metal, but other kinds of sensibilities. Dave Lombardo. So we had talked earlier before the show, with Grip Inc. That first track on Grip Inc. It's so good. It got all the percussion coming in, and when you watch
Yeah,
him play those songs, it's like he was the first really fast drummer that I ever had encountered. I'm like, whole because it was Slayer. I'm like, it was just so brutal and fast. I'm like, oh my God. And then to finally watch him play, it was like just unbelievable. The fills he has are crazy great, and the speed at which he plays, it's still mind boggling. Like playing, whether it's Angel of Death or Rain and Blood. I mean, it's so fast. Uh, I don't know how he just keeps track with it because it's just so damn fast.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I, Roboto, what can I say? I'm not going to say too much because yeah. Okay. I'm probably going to have him here somewhere in the top 10.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Okay, so moving on to number 4. Who would be your next drum on your list?
Okay, so number 4, and he was nearly number 2. And I know that's a bit weird because I picked Laws for number 3. But I'm going to say, well, it's going to have to be Garth Samuelson.
Mm,
I think he is the most underrated drummer on the planet.
okay.
Um, and I think I personally think he should go down as one of the best.
Oh.
Um, because he was playing things that no other drummer had ever played. Uh, I first heard Garth Samuelson when I bought He Sells But Who's Buying by Megadeth.
Hmm.
And his drumming on that album in particular is just mind-blowingly good,
Oh yeah.
especially for that time. I mean, he
Yeah.
was doing things, like I said, no other drummer was doing. So he would do this thing where it was like, you would think that he'd be doing double bass drumming, but it was actually on a single pedal. And then he'll bring in the double kicks.
Oh.
So he
Okay.
would kind of do like a dagum, 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 but really fast.
Yeah.
And then he would bring in the double kicks, which just increased
Oh, okay.
intensity, you know.
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
Um, and drum fills, my God. I mean, yeah, if you listen to I'm trying to think of the name of the song. But yeah, I'm gonna have a look at the name of the
Yeah.
song. I do apologize.
No, no, that's cool.
Um yeah, just his drum fills, what he did with whilst playing drum fills with the cymbals was mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing. And the only person that I've actually seen who's been in Megadeth since when performing the songs from Killing Is My Business
Hmm.
and Peace Sells But Who's Buying is Kirk, the most recent drummer.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
I think
really, really good drummer.
he's the only guy who's actually managed to kind of come close to what Gar did, which is very exciting for me because I'm such a huge Gar fan. Um, yeah, so yeah, I mean, he was again a jazz drummer who played in a metal band, and Peace Sells But Who's Buying, that Megadeth album in particular, to me was like a fusion metal album. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
was just so different um, than anything I'd heard before.
Hmm.
Um, and I think his drumming for that album and Killing Is My Business
Hmm.
was just mind blowingly good. Mind blowingly good. I'm still trying to find the name of the song. Right. Okay. Is well the my favorite drumming that he actually did is performance. I mean, there's so many, but Good Morning Black Friday
Hmm.
is amazing, absolutely amazing. The drum fills he actually does in that, where he's doing the fast rolls on the snare to the toms, incredible. Um, and it was My Last Words was the song that I was
Okay.
trying to think of,
Yeah.
because he does this thing in particular on the chorus where he's doing this whatever the hell he's doing on the snare, like this, I don't know what it is. Um, and then he takes it onto the cymbals and just makes it even more mind blowing. And yeah, he's just such an amazing drummer. And I wish I got to see, some clear footage of Megadeth performing with Gar, because I've never actually seen
Mm-hmm.
Gar perform where it's a decent quality footage.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Um, but his other band that he had after Megadeth, Fatal Opera, if you the Sphere Glass or something like that, I think it was called Sphere Glass. Um, just listen to it. That's all I'll say.
Mhm.
I've just never heard a drummer play like him, and he was certainly one of the originals, and that is not hard to do. That is very difficult to do. Sorry, and Dave Mustaine said it that if he carried on and didn't, and hadn't passed away, that he truly believes that he would have been one of the top metal drummers of all time.
Oh
And it's
yeah.
so true.
Yeah. No, I
It's
agree.
so true.
Yeah. All right. Well, my number four, uh, I would say is arguably the best power drummer in the world, who's played with King Diamond, Motorhead, Scorpions, and now is a
Okay.
brand new band, Mickey D. Um,
Yeah.
Mickey D, I love watching him play. The listening to, I think Motorhead's one of those bands that's way better live than it could be captured on a studio album. Their studio albums are good, but their live albums are much better, you know? And to hear him play like Overkill and just these songs are just continually these double basses. He's just going, he's just playing and hitting things. Um, and it was a documentary mostly on, it was on Motorhead or Mickey D and then Lemmy, but he was like he's talking about how many symbols he goes through on a tour. Like he will go through like a China symbol like every show or two. Like he just hits so hard, he just breaks it because he's playing a thin China. But I'm sure he thanks Peisty for their support. But you know,
Yeah.
yeah, but it was like just watching him play and those fills like that fill in the intro on them, for Welcome Home. It's like, oh, it's like we're Eagles there. It's just like, like it just defines the drummer. Um, and like when he went to Scorpions, I'm like, oh my God, you've got this fucking Lamborghini and you're like putting it in a much tinier band, like but hey, he's a working musician. He's gonna go, and the Scorpions had a good gig for him, and the album he did with him was really good. So, uh, but his best work for me, King Diamond, them, the stuff he did with Motorhead. When I listened to like Sacrifice, that really heavy dun 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 dun, that the kind of this, yeah, that staccato kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, that's just fucking cool. Here's another musician who I think plays by heart. Like it's gonna be cool. This is gonna sound great. How are we gonna pump this song? But he's just always playing and hitting so hard. Uh, yeah, definitely one of my favorite drummers.
Cool, man. Okay, so this is interesting because go on, you can ask the question, and who is mine?
Who's who's your number five?
Okay, so my number five is Phil the Animal Taylor.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. Again, huge influence.
sure.
Motorhead, the Ace of Spades album in particular was the album I would drum along to forever in my grandma and granddad's garage when I first
Nice.
started playing drums. And one thing that really caught my attention with Filthy Animal Taylor was his hi-hat work,
Hmm.
with his open and closed hi-hat work. Just so unique and different. And his aggression and his attitude, uh, you know, something simple as "We Are the Road Crew." The drum fill that he comes up with that, you
Uh-huh.
know, um, just yeah, um,
It's
yeah,
so rare
Filthy
do you
Animal
hear a
Taylor,
song
man.
with like the snare on the on beat. Dun, 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 dun. It's
Yeah,
just kind of driving.
yeah,
Reminds me of something you might have heard, like something from like Motown, something like that, kind of
yeah,
that driving beat, but it does kind of, drive it home. Yeah, his attitude is awesome. He fits so well in that we're gonna party, we're gonna stomp your face kind of, in the
exactly.
best way possible. So I really like those early albums. They're aggressive, they're raw, you know, um, and fast. He's such a fast drummer, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that
yeah.
it's it's like this combination. It's like where we see the roots of speed metal are in Motorhead, I mean, right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, there wasn't anything particularly technically difficult that he did, but again, he was fast. But for me, the most important part of uh, a drummer for me is having that groove, and he certainly had groove,
Hmm.
yeah, he was, uh, to me, an underrated drummer and great drummer.
Yeah.
And he just fit Motorhead so perfectly.
Oh yeah, yeah,
But for that era, you know, because of course they went on to Mickey D.
yeah,
So
yeah. Who took up the mantle and did well with it, you know?
absolutely, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Just took it over and killed
can't
it.
deny that at all.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my number five is, I would say, who I was picking. Like, if I had to pick a replacement for Neil Peart, it would be this guy, because I've heard this band play Rush covers, and he's pretty good at it. He's in this little band called Dream Theater.
I knew it was going to be Mike Portnoy. Yeah,
Mike Portnoy, another drummer who plays by heart, even though he's technically
absolutely.
phenomenal. Like watching some
Mhm.
of those syncopations and some of those like polyrhythms that he does, I'm like, oh fuck me. You know, like stuff he just like laying back and like playing home or the anything off of the scenes from memory, just and just watching him play the performance that he gets, it's like on the Dance of Eternity, like it just the little things where he's playing the splashes and how quickly he adjusts along to like the ragtime, then into the metal and back and forth. But he's just such a versatile, phenomenal drummer who looks completely at ease behind that giant mega kit, the biggest kit in the world. Uh, just such a good drummer, Mike,
And that's the
come on
thing,
the
you know,
show.
it's like Mike, absolutely, yes,
Yeah,
do so, Mike. That's the thing with Mike Portnoy, you know, it's like the things that he plays, he makes it look so easy because he's so relaxed. And then you kind of go, oh, I could probably do that. And then when you actually try and do some of the stuff that he plays, it's like, oh, that's a lot harder than I thought. Um, and you know, his improvisation is top notch as well. Like especially so the one song in particular that really stands out to me is the middle section of As I Am by Dream Theater,
Oh yeah,
where
yeah.
he just goes off one, you know,
Hmm.
dum back that dum he just goes off on one. It's just like, you know, it's it's not easy to do. And like you say, you know, it's definitely plays by feel, passion. And he's one of those drummers, and I think this is kind of the thing for me. It's the personality comes when that personality comes out in their playing. You know, it's their personality is in the music, so
Right.
to speak. You know,
Sure, sure.
and that is exactly what it is with Mike Portnoy, like Lars Ulrich, like Filthy Animal Taylor. You know, uh, it's their personality that comes out in the performance and the music that they're playing. And again, Mike Portnoy. I mean, you know, you could name so many songs that you know because of his drum parts.
Right.
Honor Thy Father, you know.
Hmm.
Uh, there's just there's so many. Dance of Eternity, you know. Even just that
Yeah.
stub and bass drum, dum 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 dum,
Hmm.
da 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 da
Yes.
da. You know, there's just so many songs that Dream Theater did where it was like it was the drums that kind of drew me towards Dream Theater more than anything
Hmm.
because I heard about Mike Portnoy from other people and
Yeah.
I discovered Mike Portnoy. I discovered Dream Theater because of the word going out about Mike Portnoy. And yeah, I think for me, what really showed people that Mike Portnoy is the guy who belongs in Dream Theater, dare I say it, and it's nothing against Mike Mangini, but it was just missing that personality
Yeah.
and feel.
Hmm. Feel is the word, yes, because he's technically a phenomenal drummer. His prowess is
Yes,
amazing, and I loved watching the documentary of the auditions for drummer, and seeing how
yeah,
they fit. And like, yeah, and I like that there was one other guy I really liked as well. And I'm like, oh yeah, he's a good fit. And Mangini comes in, does all this stuff, and again, it's technically precise, but it's almost like a human metronome,
mhm,
like
exactly. It's too mechanical. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Compared, and I think that's the thing again to me. What draws me towards the drummers that I like is that human quality in their playing. I think it's so important because if you think about music, it's like if you have something that's created by AI, it's not going to capture the same emotion as what you can capture from actual human beings
Right.
recording. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Actually
Yes.
releasing a
Yeah.
song.
No, I
And I
get it.
think it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
If you can hear something real, you're going to relate to it.
Yes. Precisely. I agree 100%. All right. Hey, we're halfway through the list, kids. Number 6 for you, Mark.
Okay. Okay. And I'm starting to wonder if I should have put this guy in earlier, but Dave Lombardo.
Ah, yes.
I mean, there's so many things you could say about Dave Lombardo's playing. He's he's Dave Lombardo. I mean, for me, he's
Yeah.
my favorite metal drummer.
Yeah.
Um, I've never heard anyone play the bass drums as powerful as he does when he's doing his double kicks. Is such a high tempo, um, with such precision.
Hmm.
Um, I remember watching footage of Download 2005 when he was playing Angel of Death, and that double kick drumming part comes in the middle section of that song. And when he did it at Download 2005, I think, well, it was the first time I ever saw him pretend to look at a watch whilst he's doing these fast double kicks, and he does it for even longer. And you're just like, are you taking the piss, mate? Like, could you just like
Yeah.
stop?
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, as if it's
Uh-huh.
really easy to do. But Dave Lombardo, the thing I love about him, you know, it's like fireworks going off around the kit when he's doing these
Yeah.
drum
Yeah.
fills. It's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so fast but so precise, and
Yes.
but still with that groove and the energy and the attitude. And to me, it's like that's the one drum I would say where his personality, not that I know Dave Lombardo, but I've seen quite a few interviews with Dave Lombardo, and it's like you wouldn't expect him to be such a nice guy when you watch the way that he plays.
Hmm.
It's just
Yeah.
that bit to me doesn't make sense. But there's no denying that he plays with such feel, and
Mm.
what he played in Slayer is the best
Yes.
thing that was ever created in
Yes.
Slayer,
Their best
hands
drummer,
down.
hands down. Yeah. Um,
He just
yes.
made Slayer so much better, and that's nothing against Slayer,
Nope.
but he did. He created the band to be a band.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against Paul Bostaph either, because he's an amazing drummer. I love him.
He's amazing, but it's not the same. You tell the difference. His fills are very similar, very repetitive. Whereas, like one of my favorite breakdowns in the middle of War Ensemble, he's got that big drum, and then I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
and like everything stops but him. It's like, nope,
yeah.
listen to me, motherfuckers. And then it comes right back into it. But it's a great example of how precise and how fast, how memorable his fills are, you know?
Exactly, you
Yeah.
know. And um, the first time, well, not the first time I heard Slayer, that's a lie. But when I first heard the album, God Hates Us All, I actually thought that was Dave Lombardo.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, I found it was Paul Bostaph. And that kind of shows you the similarity in the two, you know, in
Yeah.
relation to what you just
Yeah.
um, spoke about there. You know, there is definitely a similarity in both in both styles of drumming there when it comes to Dave Lombardo and Paul
Yeah.
Bostaph, for sure.
He's a great drummer.
Absolutely.
Stuff. Yeah. Phenomenal. All right. Well, my number 6 also played with Megadeth, and I think in what the little later than your golden era, my golden era, when I first really got into them, played for Rust in Peace, and those in that era. We got Nick
Thought it was
Menza.
gonna
Yeah,
be.
Nick Menza.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Yeah.
tragically short life, sadly. But my God, what a force! And to watch him play those drum fills, because Rust in Peace, like Holy Wars, has all the starts and stops and all the time changes and all these things. I mean, it is like I love watching reactions to that song, because people who are never like into metal going, "Holy fuck, what's going on?" They're blown away by it. And to watch him play those really intricate and complicated parts so smoothly and perfectly, he just blew me away.
Yeah, I've never seen uh, a Megadeth drummer play as precise as Nick Menza, I think is the right word to use. And what I mean by that is everything he played was irreplaceable in Megadeth. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah,
like the equivalent of John Bonham with Led Zeppelin. It's like you can't change anything
right.
that he does.
You
You know
can't
what I
hear
mean? And
Holy
you've got
Wars
it
without those fills. Right. Exactly.
exactly. Yeah. And um, yeah, that he, he had a really nice feel, and he was always driving the song. He was very hard kind of hitter when it came to the hi hat or the ride
Hmm.
cymbal, you know.
Hmm.
But it
Yeah.
always gave Megadeth that drive. And the thing is that people need to remember is Rust in Peace was actually the first album that Nick Menza did with
Yeah.
Megadeth. And
What
I
an
mean,
album. What an album.
what is what a way to introduce yourself, you
That's
know what I
right. Here
mean?
you go, world.
Absolutely incredible. You know, take no prisoners. You know,
Yeah,
it's
come
just like,
on. Yeah.
yeah, just yeah, amazing drummer. Really, really great drummer.
And those fills are simple but memorable, like Lars is like on the Tornado of Souls. Brr, brr,
Yeah,
brr, brr. It's a simple
yeah,
roll, but you remember it. It's memorable.
yeah. Of course. Do
Yeah.
do 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 do.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
We remember it. Okay, moving on to number 7. I'm wondering if we're gonna
I
like
am a,
match up. So number 7, are you out?
no, I'm not out. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
so surprised that I've got up to number 7 because I didn't even. But when you said top 10, I was like, yeah, me, that's going to be difficult, but
Yeah,
it's actually flowing really nicely.
good.
Number 7, I'm going to go Mickey D.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there's so many things to say about Mickey D, but just to keep it short, I think he played a drum solo, which there was perfection in the way it was structurally done. It felt like it was like there was a certain structure to the drum solo that he played on the DVD Stage Fright, and it just worked so well. And he plays with such power and attitude and precision, uh, and you always get the feeling that he's not yet actually fully shown what he's capable of. Like I would love to just watch him play drums on his own, just to see what he can do.
Yeah.
Because I just get the feeling like he could just play anything, but he's mature in that sort of way where he always just plays what the songs need for whatever
Yeah.
he's playing,
Yeah. Right, right.
whatever song he's performing with along to. Um, and yeah, I mean songs like "Sacrifice" and "In the Name of Tragedy."
Hmm.
Just Mickey D's just to me one of the best rock drummers that's ever existed, really. Um, and what he brought to Motorhead after Filthy Animal Taylor, I don't think any other drummer could.
Yeah, right. And he wasn't trying to be Taylor. He was just like
Not at all.
he was just being
Not at
himself,
all.
but it served the music well because they're both power drummers. I think
Exactly.
Taylor has that punk edge where, I think Mickey D brought more of the straighter metal edge. But
Yeah,
but
I
but
think
but they
Mickey
both
D
have the
was
power. It's all a big power drum.
exactly, yeah. And I think Filthy Animal Taylor was just chaotic when
Yeah,
it's
that was
like
just it. Like here's
he,
personality coming through the drums, right?
exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he could make a mistake at any point. Where it's like Mickey D was just very mature and technically better and uh actually played drums when Filthy Animal Taylor, it felt like he was just hitting drums.
yeah. He's
Not saying
he's
what he played was bad, because
yeah.
otherwise I wouldn't have put him, such a high rating. But
That's good.
yeah, I think Mickey D was much more mature when it comes to drumming than Filthy Animal Taylor.
Yeah. He's so good, so good.
Absolutely.
Okay. My number seven, uh, one of the fastest drummers, I think. The first time I heard him, they were opening for King Diamond, this band, and it was Curtain was closed. I knew nothing about this band and then I heard this like double bass, and I thought it was a machine gun. And then they came out and they started blowing me away. Um, George Colias from
I
Nile.
thought it was going to be him.
Yeah. I, I became such a huge Nile fan, and our very first like big interview was with Carl Sanders. He's been on the show twice, and so that was like a big moment for us. Like, holy fuck, Carl Sanders, you know. Um, but George Colias, like, my God, the speed at which he plays is just staggering. And watching the feet do what they do, and his fills are such a blur. Uh, and I watch his stuff playing like he's in a studio recording, and he's just like it's a masterwork of speed, but also um, the conservation of movement as a drummer. He's not flailing about with his arms. It's wrist, it's
Yeah.
wrist action, and a lot of like, letting doing rolls, and the kind of rudimentary rolls that were taught as early drummers. Let's do a 5-stroke roll, 7-stroke roll. Um, he does a lot of those things too, because you can't, that's too much repetition. Your body would just explode. But he's always been such a good force behind Nile. I really, really like his drumming and the other projects that he's done. So he's just a blur, and yeah, one of my favorites.
Oh, good choice. Yeah, I remember through my teenage years, I used to go on this website called drummerworld.com. It was like my go-to website because I started learning how to drum when I was like 14,
Yeah,
14, 15. So that was my go-to. The Vic Firth website with all the rudiments, I used to play along
yeah,
to
nice.
religiously, and Drummer World. And one of the videos that I saw on Drummer World was George, and it was just the camera angle at his feet, and it was just him in his studio, and he was just playing fast double kicks, and he would start off at 180, and then it got something ridiculous like 280 or something like that. I was just
Yeah,
like, how is that even possible? But the thing that's really cool is, a lot of drummers nowadays, especially when they're playing black metal, um, or metal in general, they use triggers. I,
yeah,
I don't use triggers.
yeah,
I just don't.
yeah.
Unless the music's asking for it, I won't use triggers. But he would use triggers, but you could still see the amount of power he was getting on each hit.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the beater was like that far away from the kick drum just tapping away.
Yeah.
It was still so, a distance away, and he would still get that power from the kick drums.
Hmm.
It was just mind blowing to actually see anyone be able to play that fast. It just totally blew me away.
Yeah.
Totally blew me
Yeah.
away. So yeah,
I, and
I
I
understand.
I was always more of like the Lombardo style. I mean, I played with the full foot down, full like leg,
Yeah,
and not from my ankle and the calf. Because I see that, they're the feet move back and forth. They get this weird kind of rotating angle. I'm like, there's no way I'm ever gonna be able to get that, something like that. And
yeah, like the
I've long
swivel.
accepted the fact that, yeah, the swivel. Like, no, that's just not me. It's a drummer.
Yeah.
I can play double bass, and I've done a lot of that, and I enjoy it, but it's never to that speed. I'm like, nope, nope. I can't do that, but I get it. Okay. Hey, we're at number 8. Who's your number 8 drummer?
Okay. Uh, Nick Menza.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Nick Menza.
Great drummer.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, I mean, we've already kind of spoke about Nick Menza
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
agreed on many things. So yeah, it's just so sad that what happened. But he actually did audition for Megadeth. I don't know if you know that. It was
Mm.
before Chris Adler got in the band.
Okay.
I think. I think it was before Chris Adler got in the band. I think it was, yeah. because it was Mustaine's son Justice who recorded footage, and it got taken down,
Mm,
and it was Nick Menza performing. You didn't actually see Nick Menza performing, but it was later said that it was Nick Menza.
okay.
Um, so he had his phone out, but it was pointing towards the wall whilst they were rehearsing, and
Okay.
it was Nick Menza actually performing with Megadeth.
Oh,
So
oh.
there was potential for him to come back into Megadeth, but it didn't work out. Apparently, he didn't play as well as what he did when he was first in Megadeth, and that's why he didn't get the job, which is quite sad because
Yeah.
that would have been amazing regardless. But
Yes.
yeah, it would have. Yeah, but I mean, I've seen so much drum cam footage of Nick Menza because there's a ton of it if you go on YouTube.
Mm,
And he was amazing to watch.
yeah.
And he was such a good performer. He wasn't just such a good drummer, but he was a great performer. And I think that really added to Megadeth overall. I think that lineup in particular uh, is the most well-known Megadeth lineup, and there's a reason for that. And I think Nick Menza is a big part of that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree. Phenomenal, phenomenal drummer. My number 8 is in a band that started off as kind of alt rock, kind of hard edge, and then has become one of the most intricate, well, controversial bands. But his drumming is one of the most complex and off rhythms, polyrhythms, time changes, and to watch him play is like a masterwork in percussion. I'm talking about Danny Carey from Tool. Just and then some people are like, he's number 8. What are you talking about? Like, there's got to be some kind of numbering system. He's just such a good drummer. And when I go back to like, I got into Tool with their first album, and I'm like, oh, this is a really good band. And then you hear them get more and more complex and changing their styles as they go. And not everything has worked. I mean, they have a couple albums with like 5 filler tracks and like, these little like minute long sequences between and noise. It's like a bunch of bullshit. Like, stop it. Just give me some good music, kids. Um, but his drumming, to watch him play, again, we have a drummer who's really technically at the top of his game, but also plays a lot by feel, and you hear these great drum fills, and when you hear, especially like on was it My Shadow, what was that one? That one 6 by 24 by, or
Oh,
24 and
okay.
24 and 7, or 24 and 6, or 20, I forget the name of the song. um but those the drum fills in there are just really, really great, and the rhythms that he has in here are just phenomenal. So he's just an amazing percussionist.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's the thing, you just said it right there, it's the percussion side, yeah, he's one of a kind. There'll never be anyone like Danny Carey. That's for sure.
No, no, not at all. Yeah, I can't imagine Tool being able to do the stuff that they do without his like 7 arms that he's, playing 3 feet, So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, number 9. We're approaching the end. Number 9. Who's the next on your list?
You know what it is? Like, I wish I kind of put this person much sooner because it just kind of went over my head. But Ginger Baker
Oh yeah. Okay.
is like one of my top influences. So I
Yeah.
wish I kind of put him at like number 4, maybe. But yeah, Ginger Baker. Yeah, unique style for sure. Played like nobody else.
Yes.
He hates being called a rock drummer. I understand that. Yes, he's definitely got jazz in him for sure.
Sure. Of
But
course. Yeah.
for that time, I would say that he was pretty much a rock drummer. Very hard
Yeah.
hitting,
Very hard hitting.
very percussive, uh, great feel, um, memorable drum fills, even something as simple as White Room. Da da
Hmm.
da 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 da
Right.
da da. It's just catchy, you know it instantly. And he would just he would play drum fills in parts of songs that you would never play drum fills.
Hmm.
You just wouldn't do it. So one of the songs um, that I've been teaching a couple of my students, bearing in mind that these students are did their grade eight. So a lot of, for the people who don't actually know, the highest grade you can get in playing an instrument is grade eight, and they passed that long ago. And there's a book that I've got which has the song "Sunshine of Your Love"
Mm.
by Cream,
Hmm.
and they struggled with that because it's such a unique way of playing and
Yeah.
so strange
Hmm.
that no one else would ever play drum fills where Ginger Baker would put the drum fills.
Yeah.
And even the way that you would do the beats and stuff, he would just add these little quirky things here and there that is
Hmm.
just so peculiar, just so strange and just so unheard of that these students who are taught grade 8 years ago struggled with that song in particular. And it's actually in a drum book which is for beginners, which is
I,
really odd.
it is. I would not put that in a drummer book for beginners. I mean, there's a
No,
lot of
not at
off
all.
rhythms and time changes, and there's some weird kind of like triplety kind of things that are going on in there, that he does. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like a firework. Like I say, he would just go off on one in
Hmm.
certain sections. And even at the time, um, when Cream were first around, he was playing double bass drumming then during his drum solos,
Yes.
and that was kind of an unheard thing, apart from Gene Krupa, who
Right.
was
As it
one of
also
the
taken from
first.
jazz, the double bass,
Exactly,
first seat in jazz.
and one of Ginger Baker's biggest influences is Gene Krupa.
Hmm.
So it's yeah, Ginger Baker, man. I mean, what more can you
Yeah.
say? But if you haven't seen Beware Mr. Baker, the documentary, do it. Just please watch Beware of Mr. Baker. He's yeah, he's a character. Yeah. And
Excellent.
again, his personality comes out in his drums. What you hear from his playing
Hmm.
is who he is,
Nice. I love
hands
that.
down.
We're seeing a theme here. I think we're very in simpatico with the types of drummers who move us personally. Um, and the next one is like that for me too. His work on Speak of the Devil, I think represents some of the best drumming post Bill Ward, aside from Bill Ward on these Black Sabbath songs. Tommy Aldridge, such a heavy hitting drummer. Even now, I mean, the guy's like 80 years old and he's just beating the shit out of drums. Well, I don't know if he's 80, but he's still hitting the drums really, really hard. Because he has a channel and he's up on Drumeo, I think now. And
Yeah, he's
I,
also sorry to interrupt you. There's also a thing that's on YouTube where Phil Demo, who was in Machine Head and Violence, and Billy Sheen
mm,
jam with Tommy Aldridge.
oh, I bet that's interesting.
It's so cool because it's Billy Sheen and Phil Demo just improvising. So
Oh,
Tommy Aldridge
nice.
just has to improvise and just come up with whatever.
Yeah.
And they get quite a few other drummers to come in and jam with them and kind of see which fits the best sort of thing.
Yeah.
And like you say, Tommy Aldridge still beats the shit out of the drums, but
Yes.
so well, so
Yes.
musically well. So
Yeah.
yeah, amazing,
He's not overly
amazing.
complicated in his fills, but I love what he did with Symptom of the Universe. I love that. It's a little different than Billboard played, but it suits that live energy really, really well. And to watch him play when he's playing like Over the Mountain or something like that, you hear those really nice clean triplets. Um, and watching him play today again, it is a conservation of what he's playing, but it is so good and so effective, and it's still powerful. Like he's just beating the shit out
Yeah,
of everything. Yeah, and I love that because I that's the reason why I stopped. I mean, I had two really kind of jazz kits. My first two drum kits were older kits, and I put together, and had a premier snare, but all my cymbals were old and used. And I broke all the Zildjian cymbals. That's why I stopped playing Zildjian because I broke all of them because I hit so hard. And so I'm like, these are just too damn thin for me. I need something heavy. So Pisces were the ones that I went to because they were like, that's the ones I went like. They were heavy. The 2002s were big, and the Rudes. I'm like, finally, a single that I can hit. But no, I totally get. But hitting the drums, being a hard hitter, I've always admired Tommy Aldridge. Like, oh, here's this guy, and Mickey D again, heavy hitting drums. So
Yeah.
yeah, Tommy Aldridge. Well,
Oh,
we're at number
the
10, kids.
finale.
Our
Yeah.
final drummer of the night. So, Mark, who's your number 10 drummer?
Well, I couldn't not include him. And again, I'm wondering if I could have put this guy uh, earlier. So yeah, kind of ranked him highly than I already have because yeah, he's probably known as the greatest rock drummer of all time. Any guesses?
Charlie Watts?
Nope.
Oh, okay, because I'm hearing rock drummer. Let's see. Well, boy, I don't know. I mean, there could be a dozen people. Who's the drummer for
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix? Um,
Oh well, Mitch Mitchell,
yeah.
amazing, but no. John Bonham.
Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, again, went over my head, and that is like an insult to drumming in general. Because no, John Bonham. I mean, come on, one of those guys again who, and I said it earlier, didn't I? You know that what he played for Led Zeppelin was irreplaceable. You cannot change it,
Mm-mm.
and if you do change it, it's not as
Yeah.
good.
And his
That's
son,
John
his
Bonham.
son plays well, but he's not his dad. He doesn't play like his dad. He's got his own
No,
style, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah, and I love Jason Bonham.
yeah,
Jason Bonham's,
yeah, nothing,
you
nothing
know,
wrong with it. But
yeah,
yeah, I think everyone expects him to be just like his dad. It's like, no, he's still his own person. But no, I
yeah,
get it.
yeah, yeah,
His work, I'm like, when I hear like was it the Achilles' Last Stand? That da, 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 that little stagger
yeah,
kind of step.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I hear that in like in Nico McBrain a little bit when he's in Can I Play with Magic, or can I play can I on the Seventh Son of a Seventh Son,
Okay,
the Can I Play with Madness. He kind of has that,
okay,
he's playing that cowbell, and he kind of does that same kind of stutter, da, 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 the little snare.
yeah,
But and it
yeah,
reminded me a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of, oh, that sounds like Achilles' Last Stand. That kind of the kind of really interesting drum beat that comes in there, because otherwise you got that big galloping song, all kinds of things. No,
Absolutely, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, with John Bonham, if you think of Good Times, Bad Times,
Hmm.
the kick drum pattern that he does, dum, dagum, left dum. That's just
Hmm.
like that could have been so over the top, but it works so well,
Yeah,
and that was just John Bonham. Everything he played was just perfect
yeah.
for what the song needed.
And he was like 18 years old when he did
Irreplaceable.
that first album, right? Like 18. I mean, he was a young guy when they did that first record, I think. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I mean, he
yeah.
was a
I mean,
pretty mature drummer for being a teenager,
yeah, yeah,
and his discipline with
yeah.
his footwork, and that all those really interesting rhythms that he brought in at a very early age, you know.
hmm
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And the thing is the great thing with John Bonham was the sound that he managed to capture that no other drummer has ever managed to capture,
Yeah.
which is such a bizarre thing because when you think about drums, it's just you just kind of obviously depending on the way that you hit the drums depends on the sound you're going to get.
Hmm.
And the thing is so many rock drummers have actually tried to capture the same sound as what John Bonham created or
Hmm.
has, and haven't been able to do it still to this day.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Well, the drums sound so
Um,
big in the mix too. I think that's
mhm.
what is so great is those albums show it's not just a guitar driven band. Whoever produced them realized the drums are every bit as prominent as the bass, as the guitar, as the vocals. So they they're not buried like you often get, in other albums. Like
Yeah.
yeah, like Black Sabbath Volume 4, great album, but the drums are buried so low in the mix. I'm like, wait a minute, how did you go from here from Paranoid? Because that's so great. Within a course of a year, you're like, burying the drums, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but with those albums though, you really do hear everything, and
of
it
course.
yeah, and the drums sound like drums. They don't sound overproduced. They sound big and loud,
Yeah,
you know, which is what I like
yeah.
about them.
And if you think about, the amount of feel that John Bonham had as well, again, he's one of those drummers who was so good at improvising that whenever if you've ever watched footage of Led Zeppelin play live, you'll notice that John Bonham always does these like memorable drum parts from the album, but not do them live, but still have them as memorable. And it's just like, how do you do that? How do you do that? It's like whatever he played was magic. That
Mm,
was the thing. He just captured everything so perfectly for Led Zeppelin. And if you think about a song when it comes to feel like Fool in the Rain,
hmm.
that Purdy shuffle,
Right.
you know, and that influenced Rosanna that Jeff
Yes,
Porcaro played,
that's true.
you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Yes, they both
I
use
mean,
that shuffle. You're
there's
right.
an interview with Jeff Porcaro who, when he says that's what he got it from, it was a
Oh,
mix between the Purdy shuffle, because that's where the Fool in the Rain came from, the Purdy shuffle, and it was Fool in the Rain. It was the two combined to create Rosanna.
that's pretty cool. I love that.
And John Bonham is the most influential rock drummer of all time, so he had to be on the list somewhere, I
Yeah,
think.
I agree. I agree. My number 10, I think, is one of the most underrated drummers of all. When you hear his playing on songs like Caught in a Mosh and Indians, and then
Okay.
only, Charlie Benante, I think is just
Mhm.
such a good drummer. That thrash style, he can play really, really fast. He could play, and then with a song like Indians, of course, he's going to bring in that tom and then, those plays, those kind of sensibilities, and everything that they've done as Anthrax has progressed through the John Bush years and then back to Joey Belladonna. Like his drums aren't. It's like matches the aggression of the album, and it also matches the complexities of the song. So I think it, yeah, just really an underrated drummer and doesn't get the credit he deserves.
No, I love Charlie's playing. I always have. Um, he, uh, he he comes up with signature, catchy drum beats and drum fills, great feel, pure passion, you know, and drives Anthrax. That's what I think. I don't think
Yeah,
Anthrax would be. I mean, I know that they have, uh, a couple of other drummers who step in from time to time because Charlie's, you know, busy with Pantera. But that
yeah,
says a lot about Charlie Benante, doesn't it? The fact that he's the guy for Pantera.
yeah.
That kind of speaks volumes, you know. Um, Amazing drummer, amazing
Hmm.
drummer.
Yeah, and
It's
he's doing really great for that band. I mean, he's just, I would not have thought he would be a good drum fit for that band, but he is. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, because he's just a
Yeah,
good drummer.
it,
Yeah.
exactly. Is it Nobody Knows Anything? That's on the song. Oh, sorry, on the album that John Bush did um with Anthrax.
But he did Sound of White Noise and Psalm 442, and I think the volume 8, The Threat is Real. Um,
Uh,
he did one more, I think, with them,
so it
three or
was
four.
on We've Come for You All,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, and the song I'm sure is called. It might not be. We've 2 seconds. I need to upload this. I'm sorry. Yeah, but there's a certain pattern that he does on a song from um, "We've Come for You All," where it's like I don't know what he's playing on the on the kicks, but it's so memorable and so catchy, but very hard, very difficult to figure out exactly what he's doing because he's kind of doing like a paradiddle with the hands whilst doing something on the feet. Um, I need to find this.
Yeah, yeah.
It is Nobody Knows Anything. It is.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 If you listen to that song and just listen to what Charlie plays and try and figure it out, it's yeah. That's the
Awesome.
thing. He's so technically gifted when it comes to music in general, and he's a great guitarist as well. You know, he is like one of the main songwriters in Anthrax. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
he comes up with a lot of the riffs that you hear in Anthrax, and Anthrax are certainly uh, known for their killer riffs.
Yes. Yeah.
So it doesn't just tell you something about Charlie Benante as a drummer, but as a musician overall. You know, and how
It's got to
creative he
influence
is.
his playing too. You know,
Absolutely,
it's
yeah.
got to. Because I started playing drums at age 10, and then at age 20, when I got to college, was when I started learning how to play guitar. And because I always heard the music in my head, but never knew what to do with it. Um, and so, but knowing both sides really helped me become a better musician. You know, from both ends, whether rhythms or the melodies or rhythm, those kinds of things. So,
And
um,
it's exactly the same. Yeah, for me, it's like I learned how to, and still am learning how to play guitar, keyboard, and other instruments. You know, and it's because it benefits to your knowledge of music overall when
mhm,
it comes to playing another instrument aside from the one that you're already learning.
yeah.
So drums, for example, you get a better understanding of things that you can create on drums to benefit what the guitar does. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Things like that. And
Yes. No.
it's an important thing. And I think a big part of that for me doing that was because of Charlie Benante.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I remember, speaking of the instruments, because I can play bass because I can play guitar, not well. I can play, some basic stuff, but I failed miserably at learning piano because I could read music, but I had a hard time, even though I'm a drummer, I could do all kinds of syncopated rhythms with my hands and feet. I couldn't do piano. I couldn't like play two different things at the same time, with my hands and read all the notes because I'm like, okay, I can find middle C. Where's the rest of these notes? So I just always struggled with piano. I could find the notes that I wanted and say, oh, play this, but I managed to get through the class. I think I passed with like a B or something. But
Okay.
you know, I just can't do those kinds of things. I really just, but I can play drums, no problem. So I know it's not that I can't do two different things at the same time. I think I can't read music or find the notes on a keyboard. I think that's what it is.
Well, yeah, drum music is the easiest music to be able to read when it comes to sheet music. So it's yeah, it's you know, actually for myself learning piano, the challenge is reading and playing it.
Hmm. Yeah.
I can play a little bit and I can read a little bit, but it is a different level of reading
Yes.
when it comes to sheet music for sure. Yeah.
100%. 100%. Well, Mark, I want to thank you for joining us. This has been an amazing 2 hours that we've talked about drummers and
Wow.
music. I know it's been so great. Um, Before we get out, I want to ask how our viewers can find and connect to you on their social medias and where they can look forward to getting these Venom Inc. albums.
Okay. So you can find Venom Inc. on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on all social media sites really. Venom Inc. spelled INC at the end, so Venom INC Inc. Um, you can find myself on official Marc Jackson drummer on Facebook. You can find me on Marc Jackson drums. MERC is how you spell Mark, by the way. So you can find Marc Jackson drums on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, M Jackson drummer, um, and yeah, the mini album and the live albums should be out summer.
All right,
Yes.
good stuff to look forward to. Okay, kids, You can find Heavy Metal Horror on unsaneradio.com. Listen to full episodes or download to your device. You can find us on Facebook, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. On Instagram, look for Montag Lewis, one word. Our YouTube page, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. If you're watching, that's where you're at. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And if you know someone who would like our show, tell about us. This has been Montag, Master of Illusion, and
Mr. Jackson.
you've been watching and listening to, okay, Mark, bring up the horns. Heavy Metal Horror.
This is Doug Helvering, and you have been listening to Heavy Metal Horror, the best podcast that you've never heard before.